So guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see in the video, we have in front of me a brand new set of coilovers. These are the Sinus Fortune Auto coilovers. As you guys already know, we're running the ISC coilovers. They're really good street coilovers. So today we're gonna be upgrading these to the track coilovers because we love to track a car, and they have some really good reviews. So we are gonna give them a try today. And then Kevin at Ely Reps, he's going to show you guys how to install a set of coilovers. If you haven't, if you don't know, because I don't know how to do coilovers, but Kevin will be opening the box, showing you guys what kind of coilovers, do some comparison and whatnot, and then show you guys install these, and then we'll get alignment tomorrow, and we'll see how the car rides. Alright guys, in front of me are the Sinus Performance X1 coilovers with the Swiss springs and with the top hats by Sinus. So it's very different, a lot of adjustability compared to our other ones right now. There's nothing wrong with IC, by the way guys. We just wanted a more track built setup. So these are about, I think we pay about close to $3,000 for these with shipping and tax. The ISCs, they're about $1,000 or so, so a little price difference, but we're very excited to get these on the car and take it to the next track event, which is a couple months. It'll ride better, not ride better, hopefully it'll perform a lot more better, and then we can get a faster lap time, beating my personal, which is 216 at Bun Willow. So hopefully I'll get a like a 2.0 under 210. That's my goal, and but I've been practicing my heel toe as well. But anyway, so Kevin today at Ely Reps, he's going to show you guys how to install these, how to take off the stock suspension, and show you guys how to put these on. These are preloaded already, so pretty much direct bolt on. So yeah guys, enjoy the video today. Kevin's gonna take over from now, and I will see you guys later.
Hey guys, Kevin here from Elite Wraps, here to talk about the next model we're performing on the car right now. So we're swapping out the old coilovers, the ISC coilovers, for these pretty much semi-track ready Fortune Autos. These Fortune Autos, they're pretty nice. They actually have a upgraded option for the Swiss springs, as well as the upgraded top hats. Here are the original top hats it comes with, both of which can adjust camber. This one, you can actually adjust your camber and caster a little more. If you look at the sizing of the two and compare, this actually has a little more movement from front to back, whereas for this one it doesn't. There's actually a lot of pros when you upgrade to this one, because instead of a single open piece, this actually has two open pieces. So it ultimately makes this section a lot stronger. When you open up a brand new set of coilovers, you want to check preloads as well as set your ride height from left to right to match. These two should match up with height and everything, and these two should match up with height and everything as well. It also comes with sway bar end links to swap out your originals. Main reason why you have to swap out the end links is because when you lower the car, the OEM sway bar end link, it's about 2-3 inches longer, and so because the car is lower now, you have to shorten out the sway bar end link, or else you make your sway bar end link not usable. First things first, you always want to check if everything's tightened down, just because everything looks like it's preloaded correctly already. There's some tension, but not too much. Typically, when you set your first initial preload, you should set it where the spring doesn't have any wiggles room, but it can still rotate if you need to. So typically you just turn this collar all the way up until, by hand, until it reaches together, and then you turn about another full turn to create some tension to the spring, and then you're good. And then you just need about this one, instead of a two collar system like the ISC, where you have to tie them both in the same direction at the same opposite direction at the same time to tighten it. Whereas for this one, it's a simple Allen key where you just twist to tighten the collar. Honestly, these work a lot better. So I'm gonna set everything up real quick and then set a standard height, match it over to the other side. So to perform the coilover installation, or just to replace the strut on the 22 Plus WRX. Here are the set of tools that you're gonna need in order to get the job done. So you got your 19, 17, 14, 12, and a shorter 12. Here's my choice of ratchet. It's always good to have a breaker bar, a range of wrenches as well. Here's a 12, 17, 14, 17, 19, 17, and 12. So just various sizes, different lengths as well to make the job a little easier. And then you always need a prying screwdriver and a hammer. And then a little pick tool for the clips that you're gonna have to remove in the trunk in order to get to the top of the strut. Start off first, you wanna loosen out the bolts. We're gonna start off with the bottom of the strut that mounts to the top of the hub. The nut is 19. Typically, these are torque pretty high, so I'm gonna use a breaker bar to remove it, just to loosen it first. Next, you wanna loosen the sway bar end link, which is a 17. Bottom side of the sway bar end link. It's in a position where my ratchet tool doesn't really reach, and so I need a wrench. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Because the other side is jacked up, there's no tension in the sway bar at the moment. The sway bar end link is easier to remove right now. Next is the brake line. I normally do like using power tools, but power tools aren't needed. Hand tools is all you really need. Typically, when you have power tools, if you don't know how to use it properly, you can actually over torque, potentially strip and damage bolts and studs. And so I try not to use too many power tools, even though it would make it a little easier. The ABS sensor, you just shank it right out. And now onto the top side. On the top side, for the ISC suspension, they use a size 12. So I'm gonna loosen everything first. After you have everything loosened, you don't want to remove all of them, just because if you remove all of them, the strut's gonna fall down. Leave one on for now and then undo everything else on the bottom side. So typically when you remove the hub off the bottom part of the strut, it's best to try to prop up the hub a little, mainly because if you let it drop all to the bottom, you're gonna put excess tension into the axle, to the drive shaft. The best thing to do is actually have another jack the hub up a little. I have everything already pre-tensioned again. I double check the preload, even though it comes with a sticker that says it's already been preloaded. You still gotta check. As a good installer, you always double check. I took the top nuts off already, and then in it goes. And then now it's time to reattach the bottom. They give you two bolts. One's a straight through, whereas one has like a little lump, like a lobe. This is the top one. This is mainly to adjust your camber. So being that it has depending on where the bolt sits, it will push out the top of the hub in more or out further. So it even gives you like degrees, but I'm just gonna bolt it back on, give it the most camber it can have, and then let the alignment shop deal with the rest. Out of the two bolts, only the top one has a washer. And then this clips in. And then to torque the top nut right here, it's 110 foot-pounds. Yes. I'm gonna go good and tight on this. Because 15 foot-pounds is probably hand tight all the way by finger, and then you do approximately a 15-degree turn, and that's actually at around closer to like 20 pounds. But as long as these are good and tight, in my opinion, it's good enough. All right, now it's time for the rear. The rear, honestly, I feel it's as easy as the front. It generally takes about, if you know what you're doing, it takes about like half an hour. Just like less than half an hour to get the strut out, and about a little less than half an hour to get back all in. So let's get started. First, I'm gonna actually start into the trunk, because in order to get to the nuts, you have to get through the trunk. To get to the trunk, let's head it over. Yeah, for the trunk side, you're gonna have to get these two clips off. That's why you need some kind of pry tool, some pick, pry it out, the top piece, and then it'll come off. Same for the top one. And after you get the two removed, you just move the liner back over as such. And now the two nuts are exposed. These are, depending on various suspensions, they could be a 12, they could be a 14, but Ours today is a size 14. We're just gonna loosen these for now. After you retorque these back on, they're pretty light. They're only 15 foot-pounds. For now, this is all you really need to loosen. You just need to loosen it a little, but not all the way. In order to take the strut out, the main bolt for the strut is right here, which is a size 14. In order to get this out, you're gonna have to drop the control arm down this way. This is a 17, 14, and this is another 17. To loosen everything first, just, you know, you work smart, not hard. And then the size 14 for the sway bar inlet. After you have everything loosened, you can just put it back on your ratchet. Sometimes, as you're ratcheting, the other side, it spins with it, so you're gonna need another 17 to hold the back side. And now it's time for the other 17, which is just a little harder to reach because of how deep it is. And then just give it a little hammer. What you want to do is now, you want to prop up the control arm so it just doesn't fall down. And do the bolts as such. Two bolts. 3 bolts. And then while you have it propped up, you loosen the rest of the nuts on top for the top hat. And now you're ready to take the strut out of the car. So just loosen the jack as such. Wiggle your arms. All right, onwards to back into the car. First, I like to guide the top hat back into the holes, and then I'll start jacking up the arm. Make sure as you're jacking up the arms, it goes in evenly, just because if it doesn't go in evenly and it's just off ever so slightly. Now, make sure everything else is lined up correctly. Everything should be freely moving inside the bucket of the arm, the trailing arm. The next step is to slowly jack the arm up a little. You don't need to jack too much, because if you jack too much, it might protrude past the holes. Next is the sway bar end link. So you're gonna have to jack up the arm a little more. And there you go, all in. Next step is to put all the nuts back on. It's time to adjust, is to jack up a corner. You want to try to preload some of the bushings as best you can. As long as you're somewhere near, it'll just be a lot better. It's off the jack stand. That's my rule of thumb. Usually when I preload. This is to help speed up the process with the power tools, but I'm gonna torque it after. Next, and the final step is to tie in the top of and these, I know for sure they're 15 foot-pounds. I'm gonna just tighten it up for a little real quick before I use the torque wrench. So I just finished installing the coilovers for this, the 22 WRX. Honestly, the difficulty level is roughly, I would say like a 6 out of 10. It's not too difficult, but it's a little more tedious work. It takes roughly, for a skilled person, it would take roughly like 2.5 hours. If you're a first time doing this, it could possibly take 4 hours. But if you need someone to install it, I'm right here. You can hit us up at Elite Wraps. You can send me a text, email me, either or, whichever. I'm pretty excited about the overall quality of the suspension. I can't wait to take this car out on the track. So at Willow, this car was putting down a 206 with the coilovers, with the ISC suspension, with, I forgot what kind of tires they had, but 206 at Willow. Hopefully sub 2s now with a better suspension. Hopefully it can handle a lot more, but we'll see. Stay tuned.